Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Friday, the 22nd of September. Good to have you aboard. We are part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented, as always, by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. If you've been involved in any kind of an accident, first you call 911, then you go where you're going to be treated like family and get the money you deserve. You call Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Hey, it is Friday. We did it, everybody. We made it to the end of the week. We got football. Week 3 NFL started last night. We got all the college tomorrow. We got all the NFL tomorrow. It feels like today could be a big news day. There's a lot of chatter out there. Are we about to get the Damian Lillard news? Is that about to go down today? I don't know. I can't predict the future. By the time you listen to this, maybe the deal's already happened. But it feels like where there's smoke, there's fire. Everybody knows that. It feels like today could be the day that we welcome with open arms Damian Lillard to Miami. Come on, let's go. So that's what's at stake here today. That's what's on the line. Is today Damian Lillard Day? Now, we got a full slate of football going on this weekend. Football is back in full force. And of course, that means we got to tell you about Bet Online. Bet Online, your #1 information source for all of your sports wagering info. Up to the minute stats, news, scores, all the matchup breakdowns. Get the latest game odds, spreads, and totals for the NFL, for college football. It's at your fingertips with Bet Online's real-time updates, stats, news, odds from the start of the football season all the way through the college football playoff and the Super Bowl. Bet Online gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the Bet Online website today or use your mobile device to get on the action on the app. Remember, use the promo code BELIEVE. Use our promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, and you're going to get 50% off. 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. Okay, so got a lot happening here. You guys know that. We got all the football. We got Damian Lillard. Here's what else we got on tap today. It's a Friday show. We're going to have a great time. Come on, everybody. Get fired up. All right, calm down. It's Friday, which means we got big game or not a big game. I got to let you know, what are the big games, what are the not big games? So, you know what? We're going to do something special here. My pal, comedian Dave Williamson, he is in town this weekend. He's at the Dania Improv on Sunday night. I'll be going to see him there on Sunday with his pal Forrest Shaw, who he does the Mermen podcast with. I'm going to the Dania Improv on Sunday to see him. He's at the Comedy Inn in Miami tonight and tomorrow. They're recording their, podcast either today or tomorrow in front of the live crowd at the Comedy Inn. I'm going to see him, though, Sunday at the Dania Improv. So you can go and get tickets there, DaniaImprov.com. My pal Dave Williamson's going to join us on the show today. You know what? We're going to do big game or not a big game with Dave. That's right. We're going to have, sometimes a college game day, they do celebrity guest pickers. Well, that's our version. We're going to have Dave on today, and he's going to do big game or not a big game with us. Yes, that's what we got going on. So looking forward to having Dave on here. We'll do big game or not a big game. Haven't had a guest picker for big game or not a big game in a long time. So we'll do that with Dave. It's Friday, which means, hey, you may want to spend some family time. Big movie or not a big movie? We got to get to that. We have that coming up on tap as well. The Marlins, are they going to be in big game, not a big game? I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's the final homestand of the season. Starting tonight, you got the Milwaukee Brewers. The Marlins right now, they find themselves, they are a half game back of the final wild card spot. I believe they are 2 back of the second wild card spot now, as you have Arizona surging. So the Marlins right now, 9 games remaining, final homestand of the season. It's against the NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers. The Marlins right now, actually, the Cubs lost last night So the Marlins are tied with Chicago for the final wildcard spot. They are 2 back of the surging Arizona Diamondbacks. So, you don't need me to tell you, this is a monster weekend for the Marlins. We'll ask Dave Williamson if it's a big game or not a big game. That's on him, all right? I can't speak for him. Now, a few things to get to before we get to the meat of everything today. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us last night on ESPN Radio. I filled in on ESPN Radio last night, which I'm doing, I'm doing kind of often now, which is great, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot more than I thought I was going to, a lot quicker than I imagined I would. Last night, though, so much fun. My favorite show that I've done so far for ESPN Radio, I've done about a dozen. I co-hosted with Amber Wilson, which was great. ZASLOW and Amber for 5 years. That ended 2 years ago. Hadn't done a show with Amber in 2 years. She's killing it. She's the top female sports talk show host in the country. I think it's really easy to say that at this point. So I got to co-host with her last night. Amber and Ian, I filled in for Ian Fitzsimmons. If you didn't listen, you can go back and you get Amber and Ian wherever you get your podcasts. I also posted it with the link on my Instagram story and on my Facebook story. So you can go check that out and you can go back and listen to ZASLOW and Amber reunited. But it's really Amber and ZASLOW, all right? She's in charge. That was, she asked me at one point during a commercial break last night, and then she brought it up on the show where, said, how you doing? Are you good? You okay? Because if you have a fill-in host, you want to make sure you're both on the same page. Is everything we're doing good with you? That kind of deal. And I laughed and I said, yeah, I'm good. And she's like, what are you laughing? I go, it's 2 things. Number one, it's different because you're in charge. And it's the best way to put it. I wouldn't say that I'm a control freak, but I like being in charge. I'm in control. Most shows that I do now on ESPN Radio, after I got the hang of it, which, let's be honest, it took 1 show and I get the hang of it. I've been driving the shows. I drive shows. ZASLOW Show 2.0, it's only me. And every version of ZASLOW Show on 790 The Ticket, I drove the show. So I laughed. It's funny. You're in charge. You are the leader. You are in the big girl chair. And so she laughed, obviously, because that's a major difference from the way we used to do shows. When we used to do shows, she had never, ever driven a show before. She was scared to death to drive a show. And that's true. And now she is very in charge. And also, I'm proud of you. It's different doing it this way, but I love it, and I really enjoyed it. And we're gonna be doing it. More. I'm scheduled for a week from tonight, next Friday, to fill in again and on Amber and Ian and co-host with Amber Wilson again. So we're doing it again next Friday. If you didn't catch last night, you can go back and listen. But of course, you can listen to us next week as well. So that was a lot of fun. Also yesterday, what we were able to have some fun with, and it's all over ESPN and First Take today. Stephen A. Smith, first pitch, Yankee Stadium last night. Woof. That is a terrible job by Stephen A. Smith last night. Stephen A. Smith threw the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. He bounced it about 20 feet shy of home plate. And you were able to tell right after he threw it, the look on his face. Look, right now on my television, Stephen A. bounced his first pitch at Yankee Stadium. It's all they're talking about. They scrapped everything else they're doing on First Take. They're taking phone calls. They had Steve Harvey on the phone. They had Shaq on the phone. They got all their other personalities are calling in on video conference. He was so disappointed with the pitch that he threw. And I get it. I've thrown first pitch before. It's not easy. I threw first pitch. Now, I didn't come up short, but my first pitch landed in the batter's box. So I was wide, all right? Now, I didn't do any practicing or anything like that, and I guess it showed. I did it 10 years ago. It's really cool throwing a first pitch, but it's hard. He didn't give himself a chance, though. He was 20 feet shy of home plate. He was, he said he was disgusted with himself. He was so embarrassed. You could tell by the look on his face. Now, I was listening to my guy, Evan Cohen, this morning on ESPN Radio, unsportsmanlike, 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN Radio. He thinks it was a good thing because now everybody's talking about it, which is true. Everyone is talking about it. He thinks it was a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's great for us. It's great for content. There is no way Stephen A. Smith is happy with it because, look, it's such easy ammunition for all the athletes to say, how can you talk about us? You got out there, you throw a terrible pitch. You can't even throw a baseball. It's a terrible look for Stephen A. Smith. I'm stunned that he agreed to do it. I really am. Now, the positive part of him doing it is if he throws a great pitch, it's like, hell yeah, look at me. But I think the negative really outweighs the positive. And we're seeing the negative now. And anytime he's critical of an athlete on his show, which is every day, people are going to get to shout back at him, you can't even throw a baseball. That's a bad look for Stephen A. Smith last night. And he was crushed after he threw it. You could see the look on his face. He is so disappointed in himself. It's hard. I don't have any criticism of him doing it. I've been there before. It's not easy. But man, he sets himself up now. Anytime he says something negative about an athlete, they're going to be able to throw that in his face now, whether it's fair or not. Stephen A., that first pitch, woof. Not a good job out of you. So that's fun stuff. If you didn't catch that last night, you can easily look. Now look, it wasn't Mariah Carey. You know, it wasn't 50 Cent. But it's a bad first pitch. All right. Before we get to the Heat and the Lillard stuff, let me tell you guys about North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. The only car dealership I personally endorse is North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. Why is that? Well, excuse me. Well, if you're a ZASLOW Show 2.0 listener, I want to make sure you get the best deal out there. I want to make sure that the car buying process, it's as easy and painless as it should be. I want to make sure it's an exciting thing for you getting a new car. And that's what happens when you go to North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. You walk in the showroom doors at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru, you're met by a member of their friendly sales team. They're going to ask you what you're looking for. They're going to ask you what you want. Maybe you want a spacious Subaru SUV for the family. Maybe you just want a Subaru sedan just for yourself and have some fun in. Well, whichever it is, North Fort Lauderdale Subaru has the perfect model for you. And at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru, we're talking the North Fort Lauderdale Subaru Promise. That's guaranteed most money for your trade. 3-day exchange policy out the door, 90 minutes or less after you say yes. 100% credit approval, lifetime vehicle warranty, and you can start shopping right now. NFLSubaru.com. That's NFLSubaru.com. North Fort Lauderdale Subaru, conveniently located on North Andrews Avenue, just north of Cypress Creek Road. The building you know and the place to go. NFLSubaru.com, North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. So, a lot of chatter last night about Damian Lillard. We started talking about this again earlier in the week, right? Where chatter started to pick up again on social media. Why is that? Well, we explained. You got essentially a soft deadline coming up. You got training camps are opening up in like the next 10 days. And it's a disaster for the Blazers to welcome Damian Lillard into camp. Damian Lillard would show up to camp. Not going to be happy, but he'll show up to camp. He's a professional. He's a good dude. But then every question is peppering Damian Lillard about this situation. Every question to Chauncey Billups, the head coach. Every question to the general manager, Joe Cronin. Every question to Scoot Henderson, the number 3 overall pick. And that's a bad way to start your season if you're the Trailblazers. So you get these teams that are mentioned out there. There's mystery teams. Remember a few days ago, I played the clip, what's his name? Mark J. Spears on ESPN NBA Today saying that he has an idea who this mystery team is, but he's not yet ready to say. Well, that's because he hasn't been able to confirm it. He's a stand-up journalist. He's not going to just throw it out there. He thinks he knows who the mystery team could be, but he hasn't been able to confirm it. Has he confirmed it yet? No, because there's no mystery team. There's no mystery team. The Blazers are trying to ratchet up talk to try and get the Miami Heat to offer more than they've already offered. There's no mystery team, but you're getting the chatter going because the Blazers know, all right, this needs to happen now because we're up against it. And it's time. We're in the end game now, right? It's time for this thing to happen. And so yesterday, you got these reports coming out of Phoenix. Phoenix? Why are there reports coming out of Phoenix? Well, Phoenix apparently may have entered the chat as the third team to help facilitate the deal. So you got this guy, Gambadoro, if I'm saying his name right, Gambo Bomb, who's coming out yesterday. Apparently, he's very good at breaking stories. Very good at breaking NBA stories on Arizona Sports Radio out there. And he thinks a deal is imminent and that the Suns are the third team, that the Suns would like to offload Ayton potentially to Portland. They would take on Nurkic's contract and they would help facilitate a three-way deal, getting Portland what they want, which Miami may not be able to get them. I think acquiring a guy like DeAndre Ayton could potentially do that. And don't forget, who's the general manager of the Phoenix Suns? Oh, that's right. Miami Heat lifer James Jones. 305 till I die. Sable Palm represent. What? Everybody knows James Jones, a childhood friend of mine. He's also 305 till he dies. And if he's out there facilitating a Damian Lillard trade to the Heat, he's doing the Lord's work. That's what we're talking about. So how about JJ coming in clutch once again for Heat culture? That's what I'm talking about right there. So that's why you're getting the reports out there from Arizona, from Phoenix. It appears that today could be the day as far as Damian Lillard news. Now, I know yesterday on his Instagram, Tyler Hero, he apparently put out a picture of himself on a private plane that said, there ain't no friends in this business. That's pretty ominous. That sounds like he's about to be traded. I know there's some people out there who think the Heat can get this deal done without including Hero. I don't see it. You know, you're a Heat fan listening right now. ZASLOW, get my hopes up about Lillard. Okay, I'm doing that. ZASLOW, tell me it's going to happen without having to include Hero. I don't see it. I don't see it. The only possible way that I could see that happening is, and look, maybe a fourth team winds up coming in the picture, throws Portland a first-round pick, and the Heat send Tyler Hero over there. I don't know. I don't see Hero remaining on the Heat. The only possible way that happens is if Joe Cronin for the Blazers, and they, apparently Tyler Hero stinks, apparently, and the Blazers have no interest in him. The only way I could possibly see Hero being left out this deal is if Cronin would just be so embarrassed after all the Hero talk and trying to tell everybody how Hero sucks and that's not going to get a deal done, is that he thinks he looks stupid now taking Tyler Hero in a deal. Because, see, Joe Cronin and the Blazers, they're already going to be the loser in this trade. You trade away Damian Lillard, especially when you had no leverage because no other team is offering anything for Lillard. The Blazers and Joe Cronin are the big losers in this trade just for trading Damian Lillard. And then also taking Tyler Hero back when apparently they never even want him. It's bad enough that you have to trade Lillard and you're always going to be the guy who traded Lillard. It's bad enough that you have no leverage and you're forced to trade him to Miami. And then on top of it, you have to take back the player who's awesome, by the way, but you think sucks. You have to take back Tyler Hero on the deal too. Maybe he's embarrassed about that part and he doesn't want to take back Tyler Hero, kind of to save face. That's the only way that I can see the Heat being able to keep Tyler Hero out of this deal? I think it's really unlikely. I mean, man, we know Pat Riley. Pat Riley's fleeced teams before. If you can acquire Lillard and you keep Tyler Hero out of the deal, that's the coup de grace. That could be the big one. All of these trades, you know, the Shaquille O'Neal trade, which I think is the biggest. You still gave up Lamar Odom and Caron Butler. You didn't want to give up Odom. You still had to give up Odom. In this one, if you can keep Hero, that could be the big one. That's the only way I could see it happening. I mean, can you imagine if we could keep Hero and get rid of Lowry? Lowry was at the game last week, the Colorado State game with Chauncey Billups. Is that his new head coach? Can you imagine keeping Hero and you can move on from Lowry in this deal? Oh, my God. Is today the day that the Heat acquire Damian Lillard? And then, whoo, with training camp just 10 days away, you go into training camp with this type of buzz coming off of the team's 7th NBA Finals appearance. Man, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. So it seems like a trade is imminent. It feels like it could happen today. Who knows? Maybe you're listening to ZASLOW Show 2.0 right now. And you're like, ZASLOW, you're so stupid. You don't even know the trade happened and they kept Hero. I hope I'm stupid. I hope that's what winds up happening. You're in the future. I'm in the past right now. There's no deal as of this moment. I was really hoping, by the way, last night, going into doing the show with Amber, can you imagine? And we did a whole segment, by the way, on Damian Lillard and the Heat. We did a Heat culture segment last night. The nation loved it. Can you imagine we're doing the show last night and the Lillard news breaks? The last hour of the show, we kept refreshing Twitter, both of us. Oh, that would have been perfect if we could have had the Lillard news break during an edition of Amber and ZASLOW. Ah, that'd have been beautiful. It wasn't meant to be. It didn't happen last night. All right. Anyway, guys, I want to tell you about the only insurance agency I'm ever going to recommend to you. That, of course, is an insurance agency I've been using for 10 years now for my homeowner's insurance. I only use Brunt Insurance. Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204. Go to bruntinsurance.com right now. If I were to tell you you're going to get the best rate out there and the most comprehensive coverage, is that something you'd be interested in? You'd be crazy not to. 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com, because from Pensacola all the way down to the Keys, Brunt Insurance delivers the most comprehensive insurance tailored exactly to your needs. Wherever you're calling from in the state of Florida, they know your area. They have offices all throughout the state. So Greg Brunt and his team at Brunt Insurance, they have the expertise and the experience to find the perfect coverage for you. And hey, that also includes comprehensive policies on both trailers and motorhomes. Now, maybe you already have homeowners insurance, you're looking for car insurance, or motorcycle or boaters insurance. Now, I get my homeowners insurance from Brunt Insurance, but they offer all of this. You're going to get affordable care and the best coverage on all of that when you call 954-589-2204. Greg Brunt and his team at Brunt Insurance, fully licensed staff, they're going to help you every step of the way. 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com. So, I know you guys are saying to yourself right now, ZASLOW, I gotta know. I gotta spend some family time this weekend. Is it a big movie? Or is it not a big movie? Big movie or not a big movie? That's right. We do it every Friday. We're going to do big game, not a big game coming up with our pal Dave Williamson. So big movie, not a big movie. I got 3 movies here for you. This first one is called Expendables 4. That's right. There have been 3 previous Expendables movies. It's rated R, this one. It's got strong, bloody violence. It's got sexual material. It's got language. It's an action movie. It's in theaters today. It stars Jason Statham, 50 Cent, Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester Stallone. It's all the great action heroes. I've never seen a single Expendables movie. Here's what this one's about. A new generation of stars join the world's top action stars for an adrenaline-fueled adventure in Expendables 4. Reuniting as the team of elite mercenaries, Statham, Lundgren, Randy Couture, Stallone, they are joined by first-timers Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Megan Fox, Andy Garcia, armed with every weapon they can get their hands on and the skills to use them. The Expendables are the world's last line of defense and the team that gets called when all other options are off the table. But new team members with new styles and tactics are going to give new blood a whole new meaning. Expendables 4 Rotten Tomatoes media score, 15%. No audience score yet. Like I said, I've never seen an Expendables movie. I'm certainly not going to start with the fourth one. Expendables 4, not a big movie. Big movie or not a big movie? This is a show. It's a limited series. It is called The Continental, from the world of John Wick. It's available on Peacock. So this is the prequel to the John Wick movies about the hotel, The Continental. It's out today. It stars Mel Gibson, Colin Woodall, Michelle Prada, Peter Green. Here's what it's about. The Continental is a chain of hotels around the world that serves as a neutral ground for members of the underworld. The hotel workers of the Continental try to handle the hitmen and murderers who come to stay. Rotten Tomatoes media score for the Continental, 52%. So telling you it's average. No audience score yet. The Continental, from the world of John Wick. I've seen all the John Wick movies. They're excellent. I'm going big movie on the Continental. I will watch this with my son. I'm into it. I got one more here for you. This movie is called No One Will Save You. It's rated PG-13. It's a horror/thriller. It's available today on Hulu. It's got terror and it's got violent content. It stars Caitlin Dever, who is an excellent young actress. Here's what it's about. No One Will Save You introduces Bryn Adams, a creative and talented young woman who's been alienated from her community. Lonely but ever hopeful, Bryn finds solace within the walls of the home where she grew up, until she's awakened one night by strange noises from decidedly unearthly intruders. What follows is an action-packed face-off between Bryn and a host of extraterrestrial beings who threaten her future while forcing her to deal with her past. Rotten Tomatoes media score for No One Will Save You, 95%. Rotten Tomatoes audience score, 74%. I love this actress. She's in another limited series that my wife and I really loved. It's dark. It's a little bit of a rough watch. It's called Unbelievable. It's based on a true story. She is a fantastic actress. She was also in Justified. I think season 2 it was. We also love the horror movies in the ZASLOW Mansion. No One Will Save You. That's a big movie. And that right there is another edition of Big Movie or Not a Big Movie.